Birthday boy.
Birthday boy.
Big birthday. That's what I'm saying. I love the big birthday boy. He's so big and round. Wow. Same thing was said to me. To Bubba. That's what I said to BB.
Howdy, y'all. It's my honor to call to order the 28th session of the Poughkeepsie Good Senate. For all of those willing and able, if you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Also, with that, we'll now be moving into our land acknowledgement.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This is also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the highest nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
Senators Mora and Singleton.
Can we make a motion to sing Senator Vega a happy birthday, because it is in fact his 21st birthday today on this wonderful Earth Day?
I agree.
Do you want a second?
Second.
Awesome. Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll sing happy birthday. For all of those willing and able, if you could join me in singing happy birthday to Senator Vega.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Esteban. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you all so much. May you all have a wonderful rest of your Senate session.
Shout out. With that, we'll now be moving into the swearing in of new senators and associates. If you're new or if you're switching positions, if you could come and join us at the front. Going once, going twice. Awesome. Welcome back. We'll now be moving into beginning roll call.
Speaker of the Senate Reese.
Present.
Parliamentarian Falbo.
Present.
Senator Rodriguez.
Present.
Senator Farfan.
Present.
Senator Escobar. Associate Senator Price. Senator Bashow.
Present.
Senator Bennett.
Present.
Associate Senator Yalung. Associate Senator Choi.
Here.
Officer Diggs.
Here.
Senator Chalk. Chairman Auntie.
Present.
Senator Roberts.
Present.
Senator McLaughlin.
Present.
Senator Rivera. Present. Associate Senator Wilkin. Associate Senator Cure. Senator Franks.
Present.
Senator Dusterberg. Senator Jameson. Senator Ornelas.
Present.
Senator Grenier. Senator McCorkle.
Present.
Senator Garland. Chair Casada Stoner. Present. Senator Hazel. Senator Magallanes.
Present.
Senator Leggett.
Present.
Chair Rivera.
Present.
Senator Flores. Present. Associate Senator Gonzalez.
Present.
Associate Senator Zaval Campos.
Present.
Associate Senator Perez. Chair McLaughlin.
Present.
Senator Batchinen. Senator Corey. Senator Bone.
Present.
Associate Senator Pratt.
Present.
Senator Hernandez.
Present.
Senator Simpson.
Present.
Associate Senator Pendleton.
Present.
Associate Senator Shelfo.
Present.
Senator Fan. Chair Leary.
Oh, excuse.
Associate Senator Pearson.
Present.
Associate Senator Schaefer.
Present.
Senator Mora. Associate Senator Grube. I got you.
Yep.
Chair Hill.
Online.
Chair Gilroy. And Senator Singleton.
Present.
Awesome. With that, would anyone want to bill in for speaker pro tem tonight? Singleton, you can. Sick. Cool, with that, we'll now be moving into the consent agenda. Is there any dissent to this agenda?
Dissent.
Senator Rivera.
Could I motion to add Bill 55, 59 to the agenda? We couldn't get word to it, and I'm not very good with the bill. So.
Kevin said Booker to okay.
Is there a second to this motion? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, yay. To clarify, you didn't specify where on the agenda, so I'm just gonna drop it at the bottom of new business. Cool, awesome. There was other dissent to this agenda, Director Luna.
Hey, can I add ratification of 2 LSAB members to consent agenda?
Is there a second to this motion?
Second.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, they'll both be added to consent agenda for further clarification when we're approving this agenda. We're also, by effect, ratifying them, and then we can swear them in right after, if that works for you. Awesome.
I have the second motion.
Cool, yeah.
Can you remove LSAB Lex from the agenda? I won't be here.
Yes. That doesn't require a motion or anything because she has author's rights, she's the author. For further clarification, is there any other dissent to this agenda? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into the swearing in of the 2 LSAB members if they want to come and join us at the front. I state your name.
Doris, I, Hannah Tate,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Awesome, with that we'll now be moving into gallery input. Does anyone from the gallery at this time wish to speak? Yes. Leo, is this a at the front kind of day or a? Yeah. Awesome.
Hello, my name is Ian. You guys have seen me before. I just want to start by saying, to me, being a senator for ASCSU means supporting your constituents and helping foster a community of CSU that everybody can participate in. The Student Resolution Center has determined that despite all evidence pointing towards Rams for Israel being involved in the doxing of a student, a doxing which is an implied threat on someone's life, that nobody will be held accountable, and that the investigation is over. As we're seeing the school administration refuse to take action against a student organization that is actively pushing for a student to be expelled for activism, doxing their information online, and completely ignoring the conduct code, and the school is completely ignoring the conduct code and ethics that they have set forth, it's more important that y'all are doing something more than ever. I feel like there is some kind of understanding that once the Student Resolution Center reached a conclusion that this issue would be solved, and I just want to say that we cannot rely on this institution to do justice for its students when time and time again they have proven that they are incapable of doing so. I urge a few things here. One, help senators who are writing a resolution to address this bullshit. Go beyond writing a strongly worded letter. Reach out to your constituents and tell them what is happening. Explain to them that the school does not care about their safety. Reach out to the administration and use your positions of semi-authority to express your dissent to this decision. You are all in a position of some kind, and you need to use it, please. I'll leave by saying this. Students have used the legitimate avenues to get justice, and that has been denied. So what are we supposed to do now?
I have a question though. So for people online, are they able to also do public testimony or no?
Yeah, 100.
How do they do that? Do they raise their hand? Or?
If they just want to drop that they want to in the chat, we can put them. Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to know. Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Kamal. I'm a student here at CSU. I'm also co-chair and advisor for Students for Justice in Palestine at CSU. I'm going to be commenting on the same thing that Ian has just commented on. Is that the Student Resolution Center's decision that Rams for Israel doxing and harassing our co-chair, our organization's co-chair, does not require formal student, or does not, is not considered as formal student or student organization conduct. And so Rams for Israel has uploaded this collaborated post with this Instagram account called Israel War Room. This video is a video of Sophia, our co-chair, giving a testimony in favor of the Career Fair resolution, which you all voted for and called for the condemnation of genocide profiteering companies coming to CSU. And at the same time, a Zionist X or Twitter account had also posted about Sophia, publicized Sophia's social media. And Zionist, white supremacist, racist, deeply misogynistic people on the internet now have access to Sophia's social media account. There have been very racist, vile comments on our co-chair's Instagram posts. Our co-chair had to de-identify herself from her physical address. And over the past month, Sophia has experienced immense harassment online and in person from Zionists and white supremacists as a result of this event. And I just want to say that the administration's ruling on this, the Student Resolution Center's ruling on this, is just absolutely deplorable, all right? So they stated that the Student Conduct Code does not define doxing as a policy violation unless it is clearly connected to other prohibited conduct, such as direct threats, harassment, other discriminatory conduct. Does what the documentation that we have provided to the Resolution Center literally provides evidence for all of these things, right? Administration has also stated that they were not able to reliably connect the posting of the content to a specific CSU student or to a CSU registered student organization. However, the Instagram post is literally in collaboration with CSU Rams for Israel, right? Does that not count as the actions being associated with CSU, with a CSU registered student organization? And I'd just like to say once again, our school is not standing for their students and activists of color. They're choosing once more to stand with white supremacy. And shame on administration for not standing up for us, for students. And as Ian had stated earlier, we should all be mobilizing around this. We should all be taking action on this. As senators, you all should be taking action on this. You all have power to be taking action on this. And yeah, this decision is just appalling. And we will not stop advocating for ourselves. We will not stop advocating for the students who have been affected by this decision. Yeah, solidarity to all those who resist. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, Senators. My name is Joseph, and I'm also talking about the recent doxings of a student as well as the professor here at CSU. Students here should not be studying in fear of their lives or in fear of being attacked by another student or student organization here. It is abhorrent to target professors and students alike, and it explicitly goes for what CSU and its principals stand for. Appeals have been made to this administration, but they have fallen greatly short, and as a result, we are standing here speaking to you guys asking for help. They have said that the release of information of professor and students, where they live, what they look like, what ethnicity they are, is not sufficient information to move forward with a student or move forward with a condemnation or an investigation with a student or a student organization. It is outrageous and appalling for the administration to leave its students in the dark and unprotected when these attacks will keep coming against us. Students should not have to live in fear and study here in fear. I urge you to help us protect our students who are not only facing these attacks, but other students who are still at risk for these attacks as well. They will come for us too. I also urge you to condemn this administration for its utter lack of competency and safety in handling this situation. Thank you.
I want to start off by saying that I am completely and utterly disappointed in this university and its administration. We have been in here for the last couple of weeks trying to seek justice and repercussions for a doxing and harassment of an exceptionally talented, skilled, and hardworking student. What has happened since then? There has only been more harassment, more racism, and more aggression from Rams for Israel and their affiliated groups. Multiple students have filed incident reports, including myself. I have not even heard back from CSU on my report. But to be quite frank, I consider myself lucky because what we did get back was the most cowardly, disappointing, and insulting response. I'm going to read from CSU. Quote, Harassment is a form of discrimination and is conduct based upon an individual's race, age, creed, color, religion, national origin, or ancestry, sex, gender, disability, veteran status, genetic information, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or pregnancy that is unwelcome and sufficiently severe or pervasive enough, to create a work environment that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or offensive, or that substantially interferes with an individual's work or education. It will serve you to recall that Sophia was not the only person to speak on behalf of the resolution she was doxxed for supporting. I was there, as well as many of these other people here right now. But why is it the woman of color who is having her speech sent to national doxing websites and accounts? That is discrimination. Racist remarks were made to black and brown students. Is that not harassment and discrimination by the university's own standards? I will read again. Disruptive activity is an act that unreasonably interferes with the rights of others to peacefully assemble or to exercise the right of free speech, disrupts the normal functioning of the university, damages property, or endangers health or safety is specifically prohibited. No person may attempt to, nor actually interfere with, impair or impede the institution's regularly scheduled classes, events, ceremonies, or normal and essential operations. Quick question for the gallery, and maybe if my senators want to chime in, that would be awesome. When if I were to staple a banner into a tree out in that plaza, is that not damage to property? That's damage to property. When an event that a registered student organization puts on gets interrupted multiple times, is that not interfering with our right to peacefully assemble and engage in free speech? I'm pretty sure it is. Then why have I not heard back about these complaints that I submitted? And why have what we have heard back been so insulting? We demand justice, we demand accountability, and we will take it if it is not given to us. Shame on the Student Resolution Center. If ASCSU can simply be ignored by this administration, then what is the point of being a senator? You, the senators, should be fighting to be afforded the dignity to make a change at the university you pay thousands of dollars into. Free Palestine, fight in solidarity with your fellow students, and please, for everything good in life, join us in making as much noise as we possibly can next Friday at 12 in the plaza. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. Good evening, senators. I hope that most of you, all of you, had fun today on Earth Day. I had overall a pretty good day, but it was really unfortunate to come back to my apartment and hear that the Student Resolution Center deems doxing as not a violation of code of conduct, which I personally do not understand. And I don't think any of you would understand that, because personally I don't think it makes any sense. I don't understand why doxing is not a violation of the student conduct. I don't think any person in this Senate or in the gallery would like their location to be revealed, where you go home every single night, where you go sleep. I don't think anybody here would want where their family lives to be revealed. I don't think anybody here would want where they went to high school to be revealed. I don't think any of you would like that. But the Student Resolution Center simply doesn't care. The Student Resolution Center thinks that doxing is perfectly fine, that that's not a violation of the code of conduct. They think that the safety of your house can be just compromised, and that's fine. Just as long as someone obviously doesn't do anything violent. But yeah, your address and stuff can be out there. That is dumbfounding to me. It doesn't make any sense, absolutely no sense at all. So again, as the many people that have spoken in the gallery today, I urge all of you to please fight for this, because again, it's not just Sophia. It could be anybody. It could be anybody in this gallery. It could happen at any moment by anybody. And if you go to the Student Resolution Center, they'll say that it's not a violation of the code of conduct, and nothing will happen. And I was here literally last week, and I read this quote last time, and I will read it again. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. So please, please, speak out. Say something. Do something. Anything matters. No matter how small, it's something. Please.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Isabel, and I am the Vice President for Planned Parenthood Generation. And I'm here to speak on a few things today. The first one is the medication abortion support resolution. Now more than ever, it is so important for ASCSU to stand up for the needs and demands of the CSU student body. In the midst of students being singled out, harassed, and even doxxed for speaking about issues they support, students desperately need safer ways to be heard without fear of these things. Even last week, when I was preparing to testify in the State Education Committee for this bill, I was told to avoid announcing my association with Planned Parenthood Generation or even my status as a student at CSU for fear of being doxxed by TPUSA. Lost my spot, hold on. Students should not have to fear speaking out about issues that they care about. It is our unfortunate reality. While I can still feel safe using my voice to speak out about changes I would like to see, many of my peers, especially those who hold historically marginalized identities, are not afforded that safety. This resolution is also just an important step in showing legislators and state representatives that the student body as a whole demands expanded access to abortion and reproductive health care. With that being said, I would also like to echo some of the people that spoke before me in saying that Rams for Israel is not facing any repercussions for harassing and doxing students. The Student Resolution Center, as stated before, has said that they have found Rams for Israel not guilty of any violations of student conduct. It is scary to know that the university will not stand up for Black and brown students who are increasingly feeling unsafe even going to their classes on this campus. Rams for Israel needs to face repercussions for their actions, and we need to set a precedent that harassing, doxing, and perpetuating blatant racism against BIPOC students will not be tolerated at this university. Thank you.
Hello, Senators. My name is Sasha, and I am here to also speak out against the actions of Rams for Israel and the CSU's administration, complete lack of action and contempt for this whole situation. Rams for Israel, as many people have said, they made their campaign to harass students here at CSU, especially their students of color. They have doxxed multiple people at this time, just within the past few weeks, simply for standing up to genocide. The doxing of this student came directly after they spoke at Gallery at ASCSU, just as I am doing right now. And this isn't the first time they have harassed people of color here at CSU. They have also shown that they have absolutely no intent of stopping this behavior of harassment towards students of color. When these concerns were brought and reported to CSU's administration, the administration shrugged it off as if it was nothing. This is a massive double standard from the administration. CSU has declared they don't care about the students of color who study here. They would rather stand with hate. I urge and I want ASCSU to do something about this, something that actually does something. Y'all are the voices of students here at CSU. Do something to stand against the administration in their complete hypocrisy and stand with your students of color. Y'all have direct access to admin. Please stand with your students of color and against the harassment that they face here at CSU from Rams for Israel. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm an HDFS major, and we, along with other majors in the College of Health and Human Sciences and Psych, learn about the effects of fear, which are really bad and incredibly harmful on one's health, brain, and well-being. To face threats and acts of violence, such as doxing, is creating this fear and being violent. I feel like that's why we're all here, is for students and the safety of students. So I want to also urge ASCSU to protect its students. We cannot allow this. We need to hold the administration accountable, and I want to echo the same thing as others have said. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Autumn, Vice Chair for Students for Justice in Palestine. Recently, a student on campus was doxxed by Rams for Israel on a social media post that collaborated with national pages such as Israel War Room. This has been a concern by the student for many days now, since her information had included her birthplace, ethnicity, and people asking for their home address. I'm going to repeat this again this CSU code of conduct that they broke. Threats, intimidation, coercion, or other unwelcome behavior through any method of communication directed at an individual or individuals that is so severe, persistent, or pervasive such that it has the purpose or effect or of unreasonably interfering with a person's academic or work performance, or a person's ability to participate in or benefit from the university's programs, services, opportunities, or activities when viewed through both an objective and subjective standard. Despite this abusive behavior, CSU has responded with this students' concerns for their literal safety and livelihood by claiming there's no proof Rams for Israel did anything wrong. In fact, they have been a threat by spreading misinformation and hate since they've existed in this university. They have harassed Black students at a school they should feel safe at. I also am in question why she, out of all of us speaking, when Rams for Israel went to Senate, was the only one doxxed. No one should be doxxed, but it should be clear to everyone that Rams for Israel chose her because she's a woman of color. So imagine fearing for your safety to the point you need to be with someone whenever you're walking around campus, walking around anywhere really, that you fear being followed home to a place that should feel safe, that you fear the safety of those around you just because you happen to be the target of people who are trying to silence you for bringing light to genocide, the deaths of Palestinians, and the destruction of their homes. We will eventually be silenced for their disgusting behavior, but we will continue to call them out, to call any disgusting behavior out. It doesn't matter how much power they have. All students should be punished for threatening the lives of others.
Good evening, Senators. The act of doxing is non-consensual and violating. It can lead to real-world consequences such as emotional, psychological, and physical harms that threatens the livelihood of our own students here at CSU. Students may fear for their safety, have paranoia about losing control of their personal identity and autonomy, and have feelings of being exposed and vulnerable to anyone who has been granted access to them without their consent. If the act of doxing is not condemned by the higher-ups within our university, it encourages individuals to contribute to the harassment of vulnerable students, and that it is okay and acceptable to do this when someone has differing viewpoints and opinions, especially POC students, women particularly, who are more likely to be targeted and harmed by these digital attacks. CSU has outlined some of their core values on their public website, which includes promoting the freedom of speech, demonstrating inclusivity, and being held accountable for one's actions. The act of doxing and not allowing for an environment that does not reprimand doxing does not align with these core values the university promises to uphold for all students, not just a select few. Thank you.
Can y'all hear me? Good evening, Senators. My name is Baraket, and some of you already know me as I have been here last time. It's getting tiring to keep coming here speaking on issues that should have been resolved, or rather, never be an issue in the first place. CSU's Student Resolution Center has ruled on Rams for Israel being not guilty for the doxing of a fellow student and harassment of students at the LSC. The precedent has now been set, and now the safety of students of color are in jeopardy. The only reason I come to the school, and I believe for many others as well, is that this school offers a safe space for learning and for advocacy in all forms. That belief turned out to be a lie only made, I would assume, in order to fatten the pockets of school administration from student registration. It is disgusting, the utter disregard of people's safety here, as doxing can literally impact a person's livelihood permanently, with dire consequences. Harassment of students of color also can alter how victims operate on a day-to-day basis, when these victims already face discrimination based on race, and yet the school decides that such actions doesn't violate student conduct? Right. The blatant double standards being put on a majority white organization against a majority person of color student base is absolutely abhorrent and frankly shows the utter depravity and idiocy of CSU administration. Y'all have no backbone, no sense of moral responsibility, only to save a mere couple extra dollars that aren't even being put into the facilities. It is so shameful that I even have to be here to speak on this, but I'll keep coming if I have to. I'll ask you, as CSU members, to put more pushback and pressure on CSU's ruling in order to protect our students of color and restore a sense of safety on this campus.
Good evening. I'll keep my, well, this time I'll keep it brief, promise. Okay, so first I'd like to read a brief bit from an article published on the 27th of March, 2026. U.S. law enforcement say man was arrested for plotting Molotov cocktail attack against pro-Palestine activist Nardine Kizwani. Specifically, this instance was a member of the JDL, the Jewish Defense League, a far-right terrorist group that has been linked to a number of terrorist attacks in the United States and in other places abroad. Attempting to kill a pro-Palestine activist whose address had been clearly leaked to this person. I wish to note that the reason that organizations like this, the ones that attempt to intimidate students from using their freedom of speech on campus, do actions like this to freeze speech. It's an attempt to stop more people from speaking out against the, well, obvious genocide in Palestine, against the horrific actions of the Trump administration, against anything like this. And this is not just Rams Against Israel, this is Turning Point USA. Rams for Israel, my fault. And consistently, there has been in this university a lack of accountability given to these groups that have been linked to the gradual freezing of activist speech on our campus. For example, when it was found out that TPUSA linked corporate groups had directly given money and, are tied to trips to Israel that previous presidents had made, there is zero recourse for these actions. In similar veins, we see the administration failing to take account, or failing to actually prosecute direct violations of the student code. In this way, CSU aligns themselves more with white supremacy and Zionism than they do the actual concerns of their students. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cass. So to kind of echo what some others before me said, I wanted to bring up that from the moment that a student starts here at CSU, 5 supposedly core values are stressed, and I wear them on my back as a student employee: inclusion, integrity, respect, service, and social justice, if you want to see. The university has, time and time again, fallen short on living up to these supposed values. When we allow student organizations to dox Black and brown students and faculty without consequence, it sets an extremely dangerous precedent for the entire community. This is an institution for education. Students and faculty should not have to stay home from class out of fear. CSU must stand up for its students and its most vulnerable populations. You, as student senators, are responsible for standing up and voicing the will of the students you represent, so represent us. Use your power to support your peers and your constituents. Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Xander and I want to echo the concerns my friends tonight have been talking about with the Rams for Israel doxing. Firstly, I'll point out this is my first time at an ASCSU hearing, so I apologize if I'm missing decorum or something like that. But I was beyond appalled and disappointed to hear about the lack of action coming out of CSU in the face of this brazen doxing. Harassment from these opponents of the YDSA has been an ongoing issue for a long time. From the very first meeting I ever attended at the YDSA, I heard members talk about being harassed. In fact, I remember one of the most notable things from the first meeting was from Sophia herself, being stalked and heckled both online and in person. When I first learned how to table, one of the first things we had to learn was how to defend from hecklers and harassment from Rams for Israel, as well as other groups, of course, but they had to be mentioned by name. I could talk about how laughable it is we even have to worry about such things just for trying to engage in free speech by the book at a public college campus where they claim for such conduct to be one of their main pillars. But I think the main thing that concerns me here is the escalation. I doubt they magically started right when I joined the YDSA, and I doubt they'll magically stop when I leave. Rather, they've gotten a taste for just how far they can go, and I can only see things going further. I can only see them going further as they see they can. I have to wonder just who the CSU admin says is okay to dox. As many of my friends have mentioned tonight, I find it quite clear they decided to dox Sophia in particular. She's a wonderful DNR chair. She does not mirror this behavior back. Instead, I have to imagine she's an easy target. I don't see myself getting doxed. I'm far too white and far too man. Frankly, this isn't even political. This isn't even a matter of organizations. This is a member of our community, and for merely speaking her mind, she has severe safety concerns that could very well follow her for life. Do you stand for your friends getting exposed? Or for your community to blow up from within? I think it's important that we take action to make CSU know that we don't stand for this. Thank you.
I motion to extend gallery input by, how many people are left? I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna say 5 minutes.
We have also 3 people online.
Make that 30. Actually, I'll motion to remove that section of the bylaws for time limits on gallery input.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and do that. Thank you, Enoch. Hello, everyone. My name is Maya. I come here quite often, so I'm here to speak about what everyone else has been speaking about with the doxing situation, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's crazy how speaking up for something you believe in, just a simple resolution, results in getting doxed, and the fact that there's been no action on any of y'all's parts, at least that I know of, which is disappointing. I spoke to the Dean of Students the other day, and we asked him, how can we help? How can we advance these reports? How can we get word from this? How can we ensure that our students are safe when getting these reports done while we wait for results? And he just told us straight up, walk in groups. And we were like, why is that? And he was like, students always have to walk in groups. Mind you, it's a room of Black and brown students speaking to him. And he says, we all have to walk in groups, even at Harvard. Is that the same for the white students? The men? Right. It's ridiculous that we do have to walk in groups, and that the Dean of Students told us that. Right. To which many of us are missing classes, not going, not showing up, scared to leave their houses. I mean, wouldn't you be if your address was blasted online by Zionists and white supremacists? Put yourself in her shoes. I mean, it sucks you have to do that, but for some of you, you will. If you're a brown person and you're getting doxxed, and there's a white supremacist saying, I want to find where you live, I want to find where you go to class, I want to know your route. Isn't that a bit scary? You wouldn't show up to class, would you? I wouldn't. And the fact that none of you have said or did anything, yet you claim to be advocates. Right. This is not a political issue. This
this is a matter of student safety for our Black and brown community, which we love to tokenize here at CSU, let's be honest, but not protect them. That's ridiculous. And for y'all to complain, because I've heard the complaints, oh, I hate when y'all come up here and speak and yell at us and XYZ, yet we're getting doxxed for speaking up. What's going on with y'all, you know? Hello? Like, I don't hear about any of y'all getting doxxed. I don't hear about any of y'all having to walk in groups to classes. I don't hear about any of y'all getting stalked. Why is that? And for y'all to gripe and complain that for us to speak our minds and for us to speak for our safety is inconveniencing is really disappointing. And you should do some looking within. Yeah, it inconveniences you, but it will inconvenience us too if we're dead, hello? Just saying. So yeah, once again to emphasize, we were told to walk in groups. We were told that Rooms for Israel did nothing wrong, which is ridiculous. When we're told to walk in groups to protect ourselves from a student group, right? Yet they did nothing wrong. Right. Because that makes a lot of sense. I'm tired of coming here and asking y'all to speak for us and advocate for us. Please do better.
We also do have some folks online. If the person with the username Habit can now speak.
Hi everyone. I'm also here to speak on the recent doxing and harassment issue. Recently, Rams for Israel racially harassed several students of color and doxed a professor and a student at Colorado State University. The Student Resolution Center has determined that none of these actions are violations of conduct, despite the fact that they are clearly violations of conduct, not only on the behalf of the students part of Rams for Israel, but Rams for Israel as an organization. This is a clear case of racism, support for genocide, and misogyny. Over the past few months, students have received direct threats and have been harassed by Zionists and other white supremacists. As members of the Associated Students of CSU, it is your bounden duty to stand up for your fellow students when they have been consistently receiving threats simply for speaking truth to power and calling for an end to the genocides perpetrated not only in Palestine and Lebanon, but all across the world. Students should not have to fear for their lives for mourning the deaths of innocent people abroad. It is absolutely deplorable that CSU refuses to uphold their value of social justice in this instance, and in the countless other similar instances of the same thing happening. Thank you.
And the person online by the name of Maida Lakshman.
Hi everyone, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry I couldn't come to you all in person. I had a situation at home, but I'll be completely honest and vulnerable here. It's because I'm terrified. I'm terrified of appearing in person because of what Rams for Israel did to Sophia Johnson, and that CSU's Student Resolution Center claims that they couldn't find any evidence of harassment. I'm terrified that someone among the gallery, or even among the Senate, is going to post my name, my face, and my private information online for people to make threats against my life, because I am against the genocide and oppression of the Palestinian people. Because I don't think a student group should dox a student of color for being against the oppression and genocide of the Palestinian people. And I'm incredibly privileged as of this moment, because I'm not currently going through this. But I am still terrified, and that should bother you. Getting to speak at the gallery and address you, our representatives, as constituents, is our right as CSU students. And being protected from doxing and harassing by outside parties is administration's duty to us as students. But their lack of action in giving Rams for Israel consequences for doxing a student makes me think that those who face harassment and threats from white supremacists and Zionists will not be protected. So why come to you at all? And the fact that Rams for Israel harassed a group of black students not that long after doxing Sophia goes to show that they must face consequences, and that admin must be held accountable for not issuing those consequences. I'll finish my piece with this, Senate. When your gallery is empty because students have been doxed or are terrified of being doxed, when classes and campus is empty of the students who fuel this institution, don't bother asking yourselves what happened. You know what happened. What are you going to do about it? That's all I have to say on the matter.
And the person online under the username Hayden J.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So, as my fellows in the gallery have already brought to your attention, we're back here with yet another incident from Rams for Israel and their constant harassment of our student body and now a university staff professor. Sophia told you all last week that it wouldn't stop the first time it happened, and then the time before that she told us that it wouldn't stop, and she told us again that how much she would hate for us to be back here with yet another incident, and here we are with yet another incident. And this time it's a faculty member. It's abhorrent and it's deplorable, and Tyler is right. They're coming for the most vulnerable communities first. And for everybody else next. Anybody who is in disagreement or misalignment with their views is at risk of being doxxed, is at risk of having their personal information shared to national organizations. This cannot be the principles of community that we are complacent in, despite what the Student Resolution Center has deemed as acceptable. You as our student government have rights and responsibilities to take action in this. Work with the senator and the speaker pro tempore in writing legislation to create new student org policy that holds groups accountable when they're in direct violation of student conduct and university policy. In this case, Rams for Israel has violated CSU's discriminatory harassment policy and the disruptive behavior policy. It's your duty to step up and hold the university accountable on behalf of your student body in this time. Please get in contact with your constituents and make them aware of the dangers that exist on this campus. We all deserve to know that we're at risk of stalkers, doxers, and harassment due to the university's inaction. Come talk to your constituents on the LSC Plaza on May 1st. And I'll echo what Sophia said last week, who has been warning us for nearly a month now, which is I would hate to be back here next week because this group has decided to harass yet another student, staff, or community member. Thank you.
Howdy y'all, I just wanted to catch you before gallery kind of dissipates a little bit. In terms of the action that ASUSU can take now and the action that I've been taking over the last week, there's two different pathways that we can kind of take infrastructurally to better support our students. One, internally in the Senate, reestablishing executive sessions. This is something that was previously in our bylaws that would allow us to like cut the cameras, cut the everything, that isn't currently in our documents that we have to decipher through student legal to make sure it's like not in violation of open public meeting Colorado state law stuff. That is in the works, that is a thing that's happening, so you can speak more safely in the Senate space. Additionally, in terms of the communications that I've had, I've been in contact with SLICE. I'm going to be in contact with the Resolution Center. It was previously communicated to me that there's usually a set timeline of how long it should take to respond to incidents such as the ones that were reported on. It didn't seem like it was followed up within that timeline. Additionally, doxing not being defined in our documents when doxing is such a prevalent issue on campuses. Doxing was something that admin was willing to address when it came to arbitrary chalking is insane. And it should be within our code of conduct, and there needs to be ways of redefining our code of conduct. If you want anything else specifically in this email that I'll be sending off to the higher ups, use the funny little position, let me know. Thank you.
I think that's everyone.
Does anyone else from the gallery wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into our guest speaker, and we'll now be moving into executive reports.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew and I serve as the Chief of Operations in the Executive Branch. I'll give an executive report on behalf of Jolicity, the Director of Governmental Affairs. Jolicity wants to say thank you to everyone who attended the Amy Hoven listening session last week. LSAV is canceled this week for Rams and Other Rights, and next week for Eyeball. Please fill out the when to meet. Jolicity testified on House Bill 26, 1335 last week and it passed in committee. ASCSU currently has a formal support stance registered with our lobbyists, the Secretary of State, as a result of an LSAT vote a couple of weeks ago. No further bill tracking updates right now, as I'm no contact this week, as well as the spring budget town hall with VP Hanlon next Thursday in the chambers from 5 to 6. That's from Gillette City.
Hi everyone, I will be speaking on behalf of Warren Davis. First is the Basic Needs Summit, which did so awesome. 75 people in attendance. The summit went really well. There was lots of really good discussion, student workshops, etc. And she will be sending out all the information that was covered during the student workshops, as well as the information from the group policy session tomorrow. So if you'd like that to be sent to you, let her know. And she wants to thank everyone who came too. You can also be added to the email list too for Basic Needs, for that event too, and future events. The final RAM band tabling on May 7th at 9:15 p.m. To volunteer, email Teams or verbally tell her, and she'll add you. Social media posts covering basic self-care and legislation related to basic needs is coming soon. If you have any requests, let her know. Laura, our deputy director, is still looking for signups for people to volunteer / hang out at the animal shelter. The date is May 3rd. It's a Sunday. Time is 12 to 2 p.m. and transportation and snacks will be provided. A link in the Teams from Laura will be sent out later today. And she's still open to talk about basic needs position, the basic needs position, if anyone has questions or interest in that. So thank you, and yeah.
Awesome, any other exec reports? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into judicial reports.
Hi everyone, nice to see you all. My name is Melanie. I serve as the Chief Justice for the Supreme Court this year. And just a few updates. We have Rams Know Their Rights Week this whole week, so today was our last day of tabling. It's gone really well. We got the Coca-Cola beverage grant, so that was about over 250 cans that were handed out in the plaza, as well as stickers and buttons, having people answer questions, engage with us on our Rams Know Their Rights page that has been recently updated. And then tomorrow we're having Know Your Rights Bingo Night. So this is completely free in the Aspen Grill. It's catered. It's going to be tacos, chips and salsa, and horchata. There's going to be free prizes and giveaways for bingo. We're going to have campus partners come out, kind of speak in between games and just kind of be there with us to answer any questions, such as the Student Disability Center, the OER committee. There's a few other ones that are coming, but it's going to be really fun. And then finally, I sent this out into the team. This is the ASCSU Officer Transition Checklist. So if you are in a paid position on LegCab, so that would be almost all of LegCab, I'm assuming, is a paid position, you are required to do a transition report. And then every position in here is encouraged to do one. And so if you came into this position and you were thinking, wow, I really wish I knew what to do or what's going on, or like if there's some document that a previous senator in this role could hand to me, that this is now your chance to do that for the person coming after you. And so this was sent on to the teams, as well as Geo, Brooke, and Farron all have it if you guys want to request it from them. But basically, this is not something you turn in, this is not something that you complete, this is to help you with your own. This is because this is used for all of ASCSU, so maybe a caucus chair would not find it as useful for a template as our budget and finance director in exec. And so this is more something to help you guys in whatever format. I know like my deputy has used a lot of like just Word, while marketing is using a pretty extensive Canva template that they're using. And so it's kind of just starting off with what would be in it. So it would be a welcome letter and then notifying partners of leadership changes. This is something super important. If you are especially in a caucus or committee that works with external partners, letting them know who that next chair is or who's going to be taking over after you is extremely important so we can keep those connections that we worked hard so year to start. Could you scroll down? And then making sure we have documents to pass on, especially if you guys are writing any legislation or any legislation that got passed and may have some more work to do, passing those on to your next senators. Your weekly responsibilities, what it kind of means to be a senator. I know this is kind of a building your job description, so if you guys want to just kind of refer to that. And then academic year calendar, if there's something that in the beginning of the year is more precedent than to the end. Your major responsibilities, and then current and ongoing projects. So especially for you guys, if you have any legislation that just never really came to full fruition, that doesn't mean that you guys didn't make huge strides and progress into it. And so passing it on to someone to pick up is how we make sure we have a lot of actual projects that come into place in these next few years in ASCSU. Yeah. So this just has a kind of a lot of information of what would look like for that. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to myself or LegCab about how this will look like for you. And then once you're completed, you can go ahead and email those to Julia and Elisa. Those are our advisors who are archiving them from all the years. And if you have any past transition reports, please also send them to her. Like I have Chief Justice transition reports back to I think 2011. So she'll get all of those as well as my current one. Do you guys have any questions of what this looks like or what this kind of means for y'all? Okay, great. Emily and I have a presentation. When Jared and I made the job description over this summer for the engagement officer, we made sure to include that there's a post-election engagement report about what happened this year. And so this is us kind of giving that to you guys. Thank you.
Hi everyone, if we haven't met yet, I'm Emily. I served as the elections manager this year and still am until May. So we, as Melanie said, are giving an overview of this year's engagement efforts from Bill 5431. We're presenting on the successes and challenges and all of the efforts this year. I would love to encourage questions at the end, so as things pop up, please ask us. Okay. Firstly, we have some overall numbers for this year. So as most of us know, we saw 14.25% voter turnout this year. These are individuals that went into RamLink, submitted a ballot, whether they filled out every part or not, entered into that part of RamLink and submitted it. That works out to 4,466 total votes, which is awesome. And then we saw a total of over 500 attendees between all of our elections events this year as well. So jumping into the numbers a little bit, this is our turnout from 2008 through last election. This excludes this year, and then if you click next. And this is with this year. So this overall includes COVID, this includes uncontested races, this includes years that were really rough. And with all of those things accounted for, we were still on a really sharp downward trend. And so this year we're getting back up a little bit. And then if you go to the next. This is the data that I really find interesting. So this is the change from year to year. So the year listed as 2012 is the change from 2011 to 2012 in percentage, excluding this year. And then if you click, this is with this year. Okay, so that's a really big jump upwards. If you click again. So this is the largest positive change we've seen in recorded history by well over 3%, which is not insignificant, right? Like that's really big growth. And proves that the stuff that we're about to talk about really worked. So, this is going to be a little long-winded, but I'm going to kind of go through the core events that we ran this year as kind of the signature package. In addition to this, we had a lot of tabling and smaller outreach happening simultaneously, but these were the really big events we ran. So, firstly, on March 3rd, we ran Seats at the Table. So this was with us, Center for Public Deliberation, and then CSU Political Review. Last year was the first year of it, and we pretty much entirely revamped it again this year, and we got a lot more positive feedback this year. The purpose of this event was to allow students a face-to-face opportunity to talk to all the candidates in kind of a way that the debate wouldn't allow. And one of the big suggestions Melanie and I have is that we should have this after the debate, because I think there were a lot of people at the debate that didn't get the chance to ask the questions that they wanted to, and so having this afterwards to allow students that conversation is a recommendation that I'm going to be putting in my transition report. So we had 48 attendees at this event, which is a really big uptick from last year. And a part of this event that not many people know is that not only was this a night of conversation for students, but this was also allowing student facilitators to get practice in this environment. So we had students from Center for Public Deliberation that got the chance to practice running these hard conversations and moderating those and getting that exposure. That's a really important part of democracy that's really hard to get practice in at a smaller scale. So that's really awesome. I will say this event was our most ASCSU internal event, so we have a lot of work to be done on how we can market this to people outside the space, because this is an event that's harder to get newer folks in the room to. So March 5th was our Pancakes for the Polls event. This event had the intention of getting students who otherwise really wouldn't care about ASCSU into the room. We've obviously seen that students care a lot more if there's free things or free food involved, so that was the premise here. We had a group of people on the plaza with coffee that were trying to get people up to the ballroom. They were also doing some education out there, and then a group of us up at the ballroom as well. And when they made it up to us, we gave them resources, handed out the blue book, made sure that they had the information so that while they were eating their pancakes, they could kind of learn what was on the ballot this year. So we had 74 attendees get up to the ballroom for that breakfast, and a lot more come through the plaza. And I think the part that I was happiest about is I only saw 2 faces I recognized in the entire morning. And the whole premise of this event was, if you are in ACSU, don't come to this, because we want to get people that we are going to miss otherwise. And so that was a really big success. With this being a pilot, we had no idea how many people we were expecting, so we ran out of pancakes a lot quicker than we were anticipating. And so my recommendation to next year is to expect a larger volume, because people love a free breakfast. March 5th was our debate, so this was with us, Strayer Center, and CTV. And this was a really cool year for a few reasons. So this is the first year, as far as I've been able to find, that we separated president and vice president debates. And I made this decision with the intention of allowing students to get to know each candidate individually and not just the platform that a campaign is running on. If you've watched previous years, candidates will be kind of like writing notes to each other, and I really wanted students to be able to see them separately and make that informed decision themselves. And so...
My mic is actually broken. None of it's lighting up except for this. I've been trying to turn it off. And there's also no sound coming off of it. I don't know.
Continue with... Okay. This was also a really big year for our collaboration with CTV, so we had to kind of rebuild that bridge a little bit this year. And I think we did that and more, so we're in a lot better spot with them on that collaboration. But they also had a chance to nurture up a lot of students, because this is an event that their students in their department don't really get to practice an event like this. There's not a lot of low-level presidential debates that you get to practice on, and so letting their students run all the wires and tape all the wires, and then also having students facilitating the debate was a really awesome opportunity. And then this was also the first year that we did a question submission box, so that allowed our debate to be kind of guided by those issues. And so most of the core questions asked by our facilitator came straight from that question box, which kind of allowed that input from students. So this event is a really good example of why contested races matter so much, right? Those debates are no fun if there's not people debating. And so having the opportunity for people to engage in that process gets them to care and to vote. And it's why it's so important to focus on outreach from start to finish to get more candidates and committee members long before voting begins. And we saw 158 people come to the debate. And I chatted with Pam, our advisor, who's seen...
I'm gonna mute you just for 1 quick second. Awesome, sorry. Okay, continue.
It doesn't even work.
And she's seen a lot of years of debate, and this was the largest debate that she's seen in her entire history at CSU by far. So that kind of was the culmination of a lot of things. And then our final core event was the Saddle Up and Vote event. This was the first year we've done something like this. And we ran this on the Tuesday of voting. If you missed it, there was a mechanical bull. Oh my god, they're all lighting up. This is alarming.
What are you doing, Jack?
Jack,
stop touching the thing.
Pull the plug. He said to pull the plug.
Okay, so no touching mics until Emily's done with the presentation, and I'll get in contact with the people who can fix the mics. Awesome, thank you guys.
Okay. If you missed it, there was a mechanical bull on the plaza. We had a giveaway. It was really cool. So we created this event with the intention of making elections something you really don't want to ignore because it can be really easy to not care, and we wanted it to be appealing in that way. So Lily and I collaborated to get the word out through a lot of different channels. There was Chalk on the Plaza, etc. But we also went to lengths to post on Yik Yak and Barstool. Lily had a burner account that was cranking out posts on Yik Yak about this because really, it may seem silly, but we did want to reach students where they are, and that is the way that we do that. And it got a lot of people there that had heard about it through Yik Yak. So this event had a lot of components at play. There was a mechanical bull, of course, and then we had some new merch that we released just for that day, and then the giveaway. We had a lot of local businesses donate stuff to us for that giveaway, and even after the bull left, after a couple hours, we were able to engage a lot more students through that giveaway. This event also demonstrates the whole premise of the fact that touch points work. So the number of reps we can get on talking about this process will get students to care. And so we had a lot of people that would come up to the table to ride the bull or to do the giveaway who had heard about the process but didn't really have a reason to care. And this was the final push that they needed to get over the hump and log on to Ramlink so that they could do all of these things. So all of this obviously culminated on result night on March 11th. We were able to nearly fill the LSE Theater. Students truly did care. But before I move on from events, I do want to acknowledge that when I was trying to plan events, I looked through almost every student government that I could find online to see if anyone had events like this. And I have yet to find another university that has done any events like this. There is one university that has done a carnival, and that is the only event that I have found. And so we are really on the forefront of doing things like this, and we see here that it does work, right? Like, this is important to get students to care, and we are kind of pioneering that path for people to do this in their own elections at other universities.
You can go on the next slide. Yeah, so this was also the first year, we'll probably say that like 20 times more, that we had our own ASUSU Instagram. So if anyone knows anything about building out an Instagram from scratch, it is hard, and to get followers on it is hard. So it was actually really cool to see these numbers come out from it. We had about 48,493 views on ASUSU Instagram, election specifically, the 14,000 most views on a post. These are things like the debate night, the result night, all these things that people are resharing and posting, 120 external link taps, and 11,155 independent accounts reached. Some things that we really saw that were successful in this is that I reached out and got a certified main contact from every single college in CSU, and that was the person that I contacted with all Instagram stuff, sending them the alt text, having it completely prepared for them, so they just had to post it on Instagram. So by the time comes that we actually have everything prepared, I just sent it to them, and they were able to repost it on their own college's Instagram, which helped a lot with this. Yeah, so one of the big goals this year was to really reach students that we were not seeing vote in CSU elections. We know that poli-sci majors really vote. We know that College of Liberal Arts shows up very much. But how are we getting students who just really aren't reaching in these elections? So one of them was free food, giveaways, and mechanical bull. We saw that these really got people into the door and wanting to at least hear us out and see what we're trying to table for, try to get them to do. But it doesn't really get them to vote, which is a great thing on a campus like this, that someone's not just, yeah, I'll just vote because I get like a free donut. They actually just wanted to know what they're voting for, who they're voting for, but at least got them into the room to hear us out on doing that. And then we have sharing marketing directly through the CRCs. That came a lot with you guys as senators, and then talking with the CRCs directly and sharing them materials to post. And then we had about 5 days of tabling, and table toppers and posters on every floor. So one of the big things that we wanted to do is reach first years. So this is really hard because they probably have never heard of the elections before, have any idea what ASUSU does, so that's something we really focused on this year. And so some of the key ways we did that is where they live and where they eat. And so every single hall on this campus had a flyer that was going to the elections page, and then every single table on a dining hall for 3 weeks straight had a flyer teaching them how to vote, and then also sending them to our elections website to learn more. And so those were things that we really saw, because I tabled about 3 days of the week on election season with the first years at residence halls and as well as dining halls, and they were always like, oh, I saw that on that table, or oh, I just got that email, and able to talk with them and speak with them more really helped. And then finally, we had the university-wide email, the CSU Instagram takeover, and the billboard. So you're really seeing a theme here is that we try to reach everyone everywhere. We didn't want to assume where someone was going to interact with us or not. And so all of these were different touch points. So maybe someone wasn't going to vote the first, second, or third time they heard about ASCSU elections, but it really is that fourth, fifth time, someone talking on the plaza, someone offering them to get on bowl or eat a donut that they were seeing them vote. Yeah, so I kind of just went over this, but the successes we saw was reaching students that were commonly missed in previous years, being out in the plaza. If you guys have ever tabled, it is a form of rejection therapy. No one wants to do anything out there with you, and you will feel it. And so being out there for 5 full days, people interacting, volunteering, seeing familiar faces, getting prizes, giveaways, really helped a lot. And then we had a number of events making elections way more appealing than it is in past years. And then something I can't emphasize enough is the number, collaborators and resources available. So we've had over, I think about 4 departments at ASCSUs, committees, caucuses, senators, CRCs, colleges, departments, administrators, different offices on campus, all in on elections. This is not something that was purely done from judicial, I can tell you that, and cannot have been done at this scale without that many people investing into this year's elections. It truly was a full hands-on event from all scales, and so really want to highlight that the amount of people who invested this year is incredible and greatly appreciated. And then growth and mentorship. So something that I think is not really talked about a lot is the learning opportunities that ASCSU gives, and so Emily and I really focused that on this year, is really giving people something that they can learn throughout this election season, not just who's winning. And so what we're seeing is that at Seats at the Table, at the committee, these are places where younger students are able to come in and really learn these skills so that they can hopefully take on these positions. So someone who served on the committee is more likely to apply to be the elections manager, to be on the court, or to be a senator themselves.
All right, so to talk money with this whole thing, our original elections budget was $2,300. Through the reallocation bill, we got an additional $2,250 for our events. And then we also had about $1,700 from other departments coming in. So $1,000 from Traditions went pretty much entirely to Pancakes and the Saddle Up events. And then the $700 from Marcom covered the flyers and the blue books. And so we had a total of about $6,250 going towards elections events. And I know that seems like a large number, but I also want to emphasize, like, these events were only possible with this budget, and this outreach was only possible with this budget as well. And we are really fortunate that we had other departments that were willing to contribute to this. But I can tell you that if we had only had the $2,300 to start, probably over half of these events would not have happened, because a lot of these things had a lot of funding going into them, and especially like with things like Pancakes, we saw that there were more students coming in than we were expecting, and so those will continue to grow into coming years.
Yeah, so what fell short this year and the challenges we saw? The first one was reaching grad students. We tried in a few ways. We got a whole graduate school email sent out. We got on the graduate school council, social media. But at the end of the day, I think we just did not see enough voters in that demographic. And we really want to target that next year, is getting more graduate students. They have a huge presence here in both branches as being senators and also the graduate council and exec. And so making sure that they know they have a huge stake in these elections next year. Reaching external candidates. We're seeing that a lot of ASCSU candidates, especially vice president and president, come from internally. And so finding ways that we can get more interest and more knowledge and just a less intimidating process of how to run an ASCSU is kind of more of a target, more candidates to come in and not feel like it's something that if they haven't been in ASCSU before that they can't do. And then the time devoted to ASCSU website. Luckily this year I did have access to the website and was able to update it pretty frequently. About a few hours a day I was spending in election season just doing that, but it was tremendous help. I mean, pointing someone to a QR code to go to the website to one place is a lot easier than sending someone to the QR code to the Blue Book and then to the candidates' Instagrams and then to the current events and then the RSV form and all the certain things that we could have sent them to. I could just point them to the ASCSU website instead. However, that is a lot of time, and so having that access next year is something we want to make sure continues. And then the key things we learned this year. This was a rebuilding year, so as you see, we're kind of getting back to where we were before last year in 2023, but people who voted this year are way more likely to vote next year. So especially getting the freshmen, sophomore, juniors, or going to graduate school students to vote, they will know, oh yeah, I voted in the elections last year, I'll probably vote again next year. More touch points, increase engagement. We kind of talked about this, but it truly is that third or fourth time someone is hearing about elections that they are going to vote. So we're on the plaza and someone's like, oh, that candidate came to my classroom and I got a university-wide email and I just saw on the bull board and I get to ride this mechanical bull if I vote, is how we're actually seeing people get on RamWeb. And then we're kind of seeing this across the board in ASCSU, not just elections, but getting volunteers to table or for any events is getting extremely hard across ASCSU. And I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like the amount of things to do and participate in the opportunities kind of feels like a water hose on my face at all times, and it gets really overwhelming. And also ASCSU is probably not the only thing you do on this campus, so it also probably feels like more. And so trying to just find way more strategies to incentivize volunteers, make them feel more like they have stake in the games, resonate more with elections, and want to be there is something we want to continue on. And having all three branches involved definitely helped this year.
All right, so with all of that information, where do we go from here? How do we do this again? Firstly, the budget this year was really important to the success. I know this was a bigger budget than elections has had in the past, but we've also never really run events, period. And so having the resources to put these events on will make them a success. And so as the budget's being revised and as you guys are talking through that, I would highly encourage you to consider that. Because this is a process that affects every single person in this room. I am not the only person that is affected by this process. I can tell you that we all lost sleep for 2 weeks. And so how we can all engage in that process, step one is the budget. Also having more time go early on to committee and candidate recruitment. We need to get a broad base for both of those because that is where the engagement starts and that is where we make sure that students have a choice in this process and have good representatives. And so starting that process early and getting engagement going early also is really important. Like Melanie said, getting more people to help us table and volunteer will be really important as well. There was a lot happening for those 2.5 weeks, and so having people to kind of help share that responsibility was really valuable. And then we basically saw that these initiatives work. We were kind of going into it this year throwing everything that we could at it and seeing what events worked. And for better or for worse, every single event had value in a different group, and so every single event is reaching a different group that we have missed, and so there is reason to do it again. And so if we can repeat these initiatives and continue to expand them, it will have a lot of value moving forward. And then kind of goals moving forward, we have momentum. And so if we can continue to engage these people, we have 14% of the student body that has voted and is more likely to vote next year. And so how we can continue to engage those people and then add another 10% to that number next year, I think is really important. There are obviously additional edits that we have discovered that need to be made to the elections code. And so if you have edits that you want to see, please come chat with me. I would love to help, and I also have opinions on a lot of things. If you didn't know, in the Constitution, you have to have either me or some committee members on it to make edits to the code. And I would love to help through that process and talk through that. So please come find me. I'm here a lot. And then I really want to help the incoming team come in. This is a challenging role to step into, and I know that, and so I want to make sure that I have a really clear transition report so that you're not spending as much time trying to figure out what's going on. And then obviously I have a lot of recommendations of how we can better reach committee and candidates having gone through this, so those will also be passed along, but if you have thoughts on that, also come chat with me and I will make sure to include that as well. With that, I want to open it up for questions if anyone has anything. Jack?
I just had a quick one, and my mic's working again, which is awesome. You said earlier that you could see, you said that one of your biggest challenges was grad students, as well as like freshmen. Are you in the vote tally? Are you able to see by college and by vote? Okay, that was just my only question.
Yeah, so I can't see by grade, but I can see by college. Grad students were the lowest by over 3%. From any other college. I think the top were natural resources and liberal arts. But College of Ag also crushed it. I know Ryer was bribing people with donuts, like his life depended on it. So yes, grad students were by and large the furthest.
Alright, thank you, and I yield.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, Lee?
Do they have to be questions or can we say comments?
I don't care.
In the sense that this was a presentation, informally, we opened a period of Q&A. If someone wanted to motion for a period of discussion debate, we can allow comment.
Okay, I'll make this a comment. Do you know how much of a badass you
That's a question.
Yeah, that is a question.
That is a
yeah.
question.
I can't really answer that, but thank you.
She does.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're getting there. Other questions?
Hearing a second was also confusing. This is fun. Do we have any other questions? Seeing none, if we could give a round of applause. Awesome. With that, we'll now be moving into legislative reports, starting with officer reports. To touch on some of the stuff I've been up to. Oh, do you have something? Oh, okay. That I've been up to this last week. Starting with some of the RSO stuff that I touched on earlier. Currently, Farah, Abigail, and I have been on some email threads with some people. If you're interested in also being in that email threads, it's more of an infrastructural approach than like the resolution or anything. But doxing not being defined in our student code of conduct is wild, specifically for this space, which has seen a lot of doxing issues. Let's get it in there. Additionally, I've been working on the executive session stuff. Currently, it looks like the previous justification that was given for the removal of the function of executive sessions in the ASUSU Senate was it would be not compatible with Article 2, Section 201, subsection E. Take a guess on who told me this. Hayden Taylor. And Article 10, subsection A. I believe that justification isn't really valid based off of open meeting Colorado state law. But I have to argue more with Hayden on that, and I have to get student legal to agree with me. But look forward to executive sessions, hopefully being back soon.
I just have a really quick question. What does that section say, so I don't have to go digging in the, just like briefly summary?
So Article 2, Section 201, subsection E says all weekly meetings of the full Senate shall be open to the public, and ASUSU Constitution, Article 10, Section 1001, subsection A outlines all meetings of the Senate, Cabinet, and all ASUSU committees shall be open to the public. One, it doesn't mention special committees, which is weird. But two, just because they are open and public does not mean that we can't go into executive session for specific issues as outlined by state law.
Thank you.
Awesome. I don't know why I said into the mic. Additional, cool. For SFRB bylaw stuff, for anyone curious, it looks like, unfortunately, they're gonna be motioned to be added to an agenda sometime here soon. The intention is for them to be read in full, as well as the long bill to also be read in full. Do with that information what you will. Feel free to open a period of discussion, debate on that. More than willing to entertain that. Or if you have any questions, please feel free to forward them my way. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have right now. Gia.
No. I recently made what I call Committee and Caucus for Beginners. They're tiny laminated sheets up front by front desk, thank you. This was made actually at the request of our president-elect, and it basically illustrates basic procedure to be used in committees, how to find committees, what are committees for some of the newer people who may be unfamiliar with the space or with the Senate generally. Otherwise, keep trucking on for various transitionary things. And of course, if you all need me, you know where to find me. Thank you.
Brian, you want to give your answer?
These are the words of Farron, and I'm just speaking them. Hi all, sorry I couldn't be there in person today. 18 credits are getting to me at the end of the school semester, as I'm sure they are for everyone else. As far as updates go, I will be organizing a tabling event for the May Day activity going on in the plaza. I would love it if senators signed up so they would be able to interact with constituents during that time. Marketing and sign-up form, the sign-up form will be sent out by the end of this week. I'm working on that resolution over the event discussed during gallery input, so please contact me if you are interested. That's all Farron has written.
Yeah.
I yield.
Awesome. Do any of our other officers wish to report this? Oh my gosh, you're over there.
Hi everyone. First, I want to start out by reminding you all that Arts and Crafts Night will be happening this Friday from 5 to 7. If you didn't hear it last time, we're going to be making slime, we're going to be making stress balls, we're going to be coloring, de-stress before finals happen. But I also wanted to echo what Farron said. I think it would be really amazing. We've heard students from Gallery come week after week encouraging us all to do more and encouraging us to show out for them. I think it would be really meaningful if senators and general members of ASCSU were present at May Day. That's going to be May 1st in the afternoon between like 12 and 5-ish. Come out, make some noise. I know a lot of us in this room are frustrated with admin, we can take as much action as we want, but if admin doesn't respect us or doesn't listen to us, ultimately we do need to escalate and start to mobilize. So I really encourage you all to do that. Yeah, that's all I have. Yield my time.
Coolio. Seeing Noah, will now be moving into committee and caucus reports by Vice Chair Talker. Chairman Monty.
Hey y'all, so I'm just going to start off light first. Well, light in the sense that you'll still get my judgment. With that being said, who here likes the environment? Raise your hands. And then who here likes graduating in a nice looking place? All right, I hear that, I see that. Now I have a question for all of y'all. There's a funky little survey in the general teams. So it's literally two questions, and it's for a cleanup event the week before Dead Week, so the campus looks nice, because I know a lot of graduations happen during Dead Week, and also during finals week. So this is a nice little chance for all of us to clean up. And if you are unable to make the times, but you know friends who either like the environment, like a clean graduation place, or both, or is just free during 11 to 4 on this upcoming Saturday, you can send the link their way. A fun, great time. I originally sent this last week, Wednesday, so it's been open for a hot bit. I can see how many of y'all have responded, and I'm just gonna say this now. Exec got you beat by a mile. With that said, moving into more serious, I'm just gonna echo a lot of what was said by Gallery, in the sense that do better, as Maya said. While a lot of what we want to do is going to be structural and we gotta escalate, like Diana said, we also have to recognize that we can go up to these administrators and actually use our, I'm going to cuss a little, damn positions to let them be like, why XYZ is happening. Ask them this question. They might not have the answers to us right now. But even then, it's our job to get them that answer. And with that being said, I now yield.
As a funny additional point of something, as the leader of this branch, that email is getting sent. If you want CC'd on it, if you want in those meetings, if you want to be in the room, tell me, and I'll include you on the email and you'll be in those meetings.
Also, to add a point of clarification to what I'm saying, this is also beyond just an email. If you happen to just know an administrator, or because y'all worked on legislation that's been sent to administrators,
Well, I'd like to additionally clarify that the intention of the email and what the email outlines is scheduling a meeting to address the student code of conduct being inefficient in terms of student safety. There needs to be tangible action. I've platformed myself on tangible action since yelling as a senator. But with that, Chair Rivera.
sorry, this was twisted. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been expressing interest in the UA University Affairs chair. It's been nice to get to meet everyone. And please, if you have any more questions or might be even slightest interest or want to know more about UA, please reach out. And we did meet last week. Everything has been set out of committee. We will be meeting again next week, and I will be sending out a survey for end of the year celebration. And then I think that's kind of it for I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Mary.
Hi everyone, we met today, and we're working on our report. I'm probably gonna try to put together a little presentation for an officer report, next week, to kind of condense it so that we're not waiting through the entire thing. We are very excited, but, other than that, sign a petition, I'll put it in the Teams again soon. We're asking the university to create an annual physical accessibility fund that would allow us to proactively address issues on campus. And then I heard today from facilities that we have around $85,000 to continue the phase project, so if you're interested in that. We're gonna help choose what buildings will go into the second phase. Currently, MSNR is one of the buildings, maybe the north entrance of this building, and then the administration building, and a few other ones. From Victoria Fire. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've got going on. I yield.
Thank you, Chair Chrysostom.
Hello guys, so just a reminder, we will have committee this Friday from 5 to 6. So after that, then we will all be going to craft night, right, yep, awesome. And we also looked at LSAT Lex, we discharged it last committee. We endorsed the funding of the proclamation reading for Impedance One Heritage Month. And then also I will bring brownies if you show up. If you come to committee on Friday, we will have brownies there, so come. And then also I wanted to shout out that cabinet and Office of the President, or cabinet director positions and Office of the President positions are up on workday and Handshake. So if you would like to, please go apply. They're super awesome, great positions. Or get any of your friends to apply. There's a wide range of director positions. So if you have a friend who wants to do something, please let them check it out and everything. And then lastly, I lost my train of thought. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
Chair Baldwin.
Hello, the Budget and Appropriations Committee met last Thursday and we discharged the funding of the APIDA event. I will not be chairing committee tomorrow. My vice chair, Carly Jeffries, will be chairing instead. I also just want to express my concern that I have not heard any updates on the activities of the SFRB or seen any publicly available information on any decisions being made by that board or bylaws. So yes, as a budgetary person of the Senate, I have concerns with that.
I can forward you the communication that I received from Joseph Gottschall earlier this week in regards to the SFRB bylaws if you'd like.
That would be great.
Sick.
Because this is a board that decides whether, or the fees we all pay each semester, which is currently over $900. Also, I'm a bit disappointed that the people that do frequently have communication with admin were not in the room tonight to hear the concerns of students. I know, like many of you, I do not know any administrators by name. If I did email them, they would probably be like, oh, you're a senator for the graduate school. That's so cool. Thank you for emailing me. I will now ignore you. I'm frustrated too by this. I don't really know what to do here, so yeah, happy note. I yield.
Chairman Alti.
Thank you, Senator Rivera, for low-key reminding me. I will also not be chairing this caucus next year, so if you want to become the chair of Community Action Caucus, hit me up. And if not, a random lovely transition report will be sent. I yield.
Thank you, Chair Satisfy.
I'll be quick, I'm so sorry. Also, if you guys have any interest in being the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee Chair, I will also not be in that position next year, so please reach out to me. Someone already did, and I'm really glad that there's at least a person. But if you have any others, please reach out and talk to your students. Let's protect our students and reach out, because we're senators. We get to talk to students, so yeah. Okay, bye guys.
Awesome. Do any other, Chair McLaughlin?
I also will not be here next year, as my tone of voice probably conveys. So, what? Nothing. If you're interested in this role, I've had a couple people reach out so far, but please do, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah.
Awesome. With that, are there any other committee or caucus chair reports? Coolio, going ahead and moving into Senator and Social Center reports, my first race Walker. Senator Roberts.
Hey guys, batting on the hatches because it's here again. FFA will be taking over the CSU's campus this coming Monday and Tuesday. So you'll see them around the LSC. They'll be wearing their blue corduroy. Make sure they're on their best behavior, or tell them Ryer's coming after them. No, we would like to see and shout out that we have some volunteer opportunities with CDEs. If you are wanting to maybe be involved with something like floriculture and helping those contests run smoothly for these high school students, please come and see me. We have a sign-up sheet, and we would love your guys' support if you could make it. There's a multitude of times. Additionally, there will be some excuse letters sent out to your faculty, for those who are going to support. So if you have any questions, come find me after, and that's all from the College of Ag. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Singleton.
Hello, everyone. I've got a couple things. The first one is probably the most important one is Happy Earth Day. Hopefully everyone was out there. It was pretty fun, getting free food as well. And then the second one is also very important. E-Days are tomorrow. If you don't know what E-Days are, they're the engineering days. This is where all the seniors get together and present all their projects. I think, in my unbiased opinion, engineering days are probably one of the coolest things that CSU holds, just because of the fact that it's all these different people who have anything from like carbon capture systems all the way to exoskeletons, and another group of people are making water treatment things, and there's another one that's also making a liquid rocket fuel engine that they might shoot off, not quite sure yet. Depends on the weather and everything, but yeah, there's a lot of really cool projects. I will be there, so yeah, you should come. And then the last thing is the UCA, the concert band, is holding the concert on May the 4th. It is the Birthday of America themed, where it's a bunch of music from like a bunch of folk music, but then also a lot of music from lots of cultures that immigrated here, and we'll also be playing Star Wars music as well. And that's everything. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Carvin.
Hi everyone. First of all, happy Earth Day. I just wanted to announce that the first Gen end of year celebration, due to unforeseen circumstances, it will be postponed to the next school year. I do want to say that I truly appreciate all the support and collaboration extended that we've seen from you guys and also from the community, and thank you so much, and I yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Associate Senator, I wrote this slotty, Sabala?
Yeah, just a cool event for you guys to get involved in, CRCs or colleges. This weekend, there's this thing called NACLAN, which is basically a free children's carnival that's offering 3 books as a purpose to stop children's illiteracy. There's gonna be free food, bouncy houses, free games, so if you guys CRCs or colleges wanna get involved with that, I know Centro's doing something. I'll be sending more information on the team, so just let me know.
Awesome. Associate Senator Choi?
Hello everyone, if we haven't met, I'm Brandon. I just wanted to announce that we are in like the last week and a half of Peter Swana History Month. So we have a couple cool events still going on. We had one planned for tomorrow for a keynote event speaker. That's been sort of turned into a movie night instead. That will be 4 to 6:30 in the LSC Theater, so please come to that. And then next week we have our nailed event. It's in collaboration with Pride. It's just a nail painting thing. Get your nails done for the queer prom. And then before Peter Swan Heritage Month ends, you should get some drinks from Sweet Sensations. They're pretty good. I like the black sesame latte. And that's all I got. Thank you, I yield.
Awesome. Associate Senator Pendleton?
Yes. To answer, sorry, I'm gonna do this publicly, but to answer your question, no. Yeah. No, I'm coming to you with more gay stuff, more specifically the queer prom, which is May 1st from 8 to 10 p.m. It is a Candyland theme, so we encourage you to dress up as in the theme, but it is not required. It will also be in the LSC Theater. Yes.
Can you yield to me?
I yield to Brooke.
Awesome. Another thing that's happening in the Pride Resource Center, I serve in the PLC as a representative on the Vice President of Student Affairs, Student Leader Council, or some other acronym of words. Right now, they're looking into meeting, or we're gonna meet with some important little admin people about like how the bias report system kind of got yeeted, for lack of better term / more germane term that I'm forgetting. So if you have any interest in that or any questions, let me know, and I can also bring that up in that meeting as the PLC thing. Yielding back to Jack.
And just to add on to that, it's very important that we address the concerns of not having a bias report system. I know I, as well as a lot of my fellow queer friends, have been openly harassed in their in dorm areas too, like in Academic Village, around Westfall, that area. I know that where people stay, which is so weird. But anyways, I just want to say that, and I yield.
Chair Leary.
The SDC is going to have another, I can't find the exact dates because they're not on Ramlink yet, but it's like a crafting and dessert event, and it's usually there's 2 events. I saw it on the TV, in LSE, so if you're on the LSE, you should watch out for that, but I'll have the dates next time, but there's usually one in the SDC and then another one in the LSE. And then we just had our SDC end of year celebration, so that was really fun. And yeah, we're just excited to do new things like this.
Awesome. Are there any other senator or associate senator reports? Senator Michigan.
Hello. I have a quick note from Lauren. If you're a graduating senior who identifies as a survivor, the Safe Center has Luna moth pins to wear on your stoles if you know anybody or if anybody's interested. And one more note, the proclamation reading for Peter Swan Heritage Month has an official date of May 1st from 4:30 to 7 is when we're booked at the Trial Gardens. The flyer isn't public yet because we're getting final approvals, but you guys should come. I yield.
Awesome. Chair Rivera.
Sorry, that's me again. But I just wanted to say that this has been an incredible year, and I'm beyond proud of everyone and everyone's effort and the work that we put in. So if you guys are planning for the I think the last week of Senate, to go to Brothers, either on Tuesday for $3 burgers or on Tuesday if you're 21 for boneless wings, and I think they're like $2. Just to celebrate and like kind of get to know one another, you know, a little bit before we leave. But yeah, let me know, I'll plan that out. Alright, I got my time.
Awesome. Also, just to emphasize the last session is gonna be on May 6th, which is also the first session of the 56th. So look forward to that. With that, are there any other senator or associate senator reports? Associate Senator Tapp.
Just for a point of clarification for the SDC, we have our events, the May 4th and May 5th for like Doodles and Dessert, which has like, we have a bunch of crafts that are going on in the offices. And then also, if you guys want to see the release of the, or reintroduction of the bison herd, so we're going to be reintroducing the bison to the northern Colorado herd, pretty much up in the natural soapstone prairies. That's gonna be this Saturday at 10:30 to 1:30. So if you guys want to see that, that's a really cool experience, once in a lifetime opportunity. Just let me know. And then I can also post it tomorrow too in the teams. But yeah. Thank you.
Coolio. Any others? Going once, going twice. Awesome. With that, we'll now be moving into confidence business, starting with old business, starting with Bill 5557, funding of the proclamation readings for APIDA and SWANA Heritage Month. If y'all want to join us.
Bill 5557, funding of the proclamation readings for APIDA and SWANA Heritage Month. This bill aims to allocate $725 from the ASCSU discretionary fund to support the APIDA and SWANA proclamation reading. From the look of it, it seems there was no edits.
I think there was one minor edit made in budgetary, which I accept.
Is it reflected?
It's like, oh. I know the sunset date was changed to the 30th. Can I also motion to enter committee of the whole? I would like to make this edit.
Is the thing fixed or no?
That's not fixed,
no.
Hearing a motion to dissolve the committee of the whole, is there a second? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, welcome to the committee of the whole. For anyone who might not know what committee of the whole is, essentially we're now functioning as a committee and we're able to make edits to the legislation. With that, Mika, do you want to present your edits?
Yes. I would like to add $110 to the, under the seventh whereas clause to help cover equipment rentals. We weren't aware of these fees until after I drafted this bill, since we were still in contact with LSC and facilities. I don't know, do I like ask for a second?
You have a-
Okay, perfect.
It's a new item.
Yes, please.
Wow. I'll fix it.
Okay.
It was 125, you said?
110. Yeah, that's it. And then I guess, can we change the sunset to the 30th, just because Jared said easier with fiscal year stuff?
Of June?
Yes.
Can we also make it resolved, or I guess it's a bill enacted throughout the legislation?
I'm so sorry, I thought we fixed this in budgetary, my bad. I don't know how updated things work.
As clarification to the body, it probably just means the edits didn't upload correctly or whatever, and as long as the sunset is done
worst case scenario, we run another piece of legislation to amend it, but I doubt it's that extensive. I'm pretty sure it's just a sunset thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know the only two things that were changed was the sunset date and then endorsements were added.
If you could send those to me.
Yeah, I, do I just do that individually?
Yeah.
Okay, but those are the only edits I would like to make, / were made.
Awesome. Are there any other edits that we want to see for this legislation? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to rise out of the committee of the whole. Senator Roberts,
I move to rise out of the committee of the whole.
do I hear a second? Do I hear any dissent? Hearing none, followed by Cow, and we'll now be moving into a period of discussion debate on this legislation by first raised placard. Senator Simpson,
I motion to a previous question.
is there a second? Second. Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we're gonna go ahead and move into a period of voting. Initially, it's secret ballot. Senator Garland.
Motion to approve the legislation with unanimous consent. Second.
Is there any dissent to this means of voting? Hearing none, is there any dissent to the passage of this legislation? Hearing none, this legislation is passed. Thank you, guys. Awesome, with that, we'll now be moving into new business, starting with Resolution 5558, endorsing HB 261335.
Resolution 5558, endorsing HB 26-1335. This resolution aims to express support for the passage of HB 26-1335, abortion medication access on college campuses. You have 10 minutes.
Okay, I just got it, is this the most updated?
This is the.
To clear.
This is the one sent out.
So,
Yeah.
the version that was sent out in the newsletter and the version that's up here is not the version, the finalized version. So if I texted you and got an endorsement from you, it is not reflected up here, and this is not the exact same legislation that you would have read, because everybody definitely reads legislation when they endorse. So I'm gonna be making all of those edits and adding all those endorsers in committee. So if you read my version of the bill, that will be what is up here
I can also
when it makes it through committee.
do that.
Well,
Yeah.
It's pretty changed.
In terms of the legislation or the endorsements?
we'll do it in committee.
The endorsements we could do now, but we just do it
I
because
would-
we already are.
Do the endorsements until the edits are also reflected in the legislation. So I would just wait for everything in committee. Cool, sick.
As far as like what the legislation actually is, we were approached by Planned Parenthood Generations chapter here on campus, and were asked to run this legislation to support HB 261335 in order to give the lobbyists down on Capitol Hill more ammunition to put pressure on it to get it out of committee and through the Senate before the 13th when session ends. More details on
The only other update that I will give is for anyone interested in this piece of legislation, it is going to be seen again this Thursday, I believe at 1 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. as well. So if you want to tune in, you should check the progress.
piggybacking off of that, it was supposed to have been seen today, but the Capitol is the Capitol, so it was laid over to tomorrow. It might be laid over again and again. So yeah, just keep an eye on that page, and if you're interested, you might see it actually clear the House at some point.
Additionally, if you have any questions of how to navigate that process, our Director of Governmental Affairs and really cool authors, I'm sure would be happy to help you in navigating that process. Also me, I forgot I exist. But with that, are we good? Good. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. We'll now be entering a period of Q&A on this piece of legislation by first raised placard of Associate Senator Pendleton.
I have one broad question and one very nitty-gritty question. First question is, do you know what committee this is being held in?
To my knowledge, it's the House Education Committee.
Okay, second,
Actually, it cleared House Education, yesterday or Monday. It is now, waiting to be scheduled in the House Committee of the Whole, and then would be sent to the Senate for Senate committee.
okay, and then second question is, so it's not, wait, so just to clarify, it's not being held in any certain committee?
It is currently not being held in any committee in the State House.
Okay.
It is waiting to have its second reading on the House floor.
Okay, awesome, then I yield.
Do we have any other questions for this legislation?
I'm motioning the previous question.
Awesome, is there a second? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, this will be sent to DEI and University Affairs. We'll now be moving into Bill 5559, which I wasn't fast enough to write the name of, but if the authors want to join us at the front.
Guess who gets to read the whole thing? Bill 5559, CAS End of the Year Formal. This bill aims to allocate $3,000 from the Senate Discretionary Fund to help support the College of Agricultural End of the Year Formal. Whereas 1, since 2020, the College of Agricultural Sciences has not hosted an End of the Year celebration, an event where students are recognized for their accomplishments and provided an opportunity to build community. And whereas 2, the College of Agricultural Sciences End of the Year Formal would serve as a space for students, faculty, and staff to celebrate the academic year and foster strong connections within the college. And whereas 3, the estimated cost of hosting this event includes expenses such as venue, catering, decorations, transportation, and event logistics, which prevent a financial barrier to hosting the event at low or no cost to students. And whereas 4, the intent for this event is to keep attendance free or affordable for all College of Agricultural Sciences students, ensuring equitable access regardless of financial circumstances. And whereas 5, the estimated costs for this event are catering, Ram Country Meats, $2,030, venue, the Co-Bank Center for Agricultural Education for $500, transportation, $56 for a 12-passenger van daily rental times 2, 43 cents a mile at its 14 miles there and back, $13 per trip, $220 at 4 trips for 2 vans back and forth. And awards, Outstanding Club of the Year, Outstanding Club Advisor for the Year, and Outstanding Student of the Year for $250. Therefore, be it hereby enacted, therefore may hereby also enacted, I will delete that $3,000 from the Senate Discretionary Fund be allocated to support the College of Agricultural Sciences End of the Year Formal, and therefore, hereby further enacted 2, that any unused funds remaining after June 1st, 2026 be returned to the Senate Discretionary Fund, and therefore be it hereby further enacted 3, that this allocation shall remain separate from other existing College of Agricultural Sciences budgets and shall not impact other student funding resources that are allocated by the College of Agricultural Sciences budget. And I think we'd entertain a motion for me not to read that whole thing. Yeah.
That doesn't require a motion, we have the president said that you don't have to read it.
Okay. You have 10 minutes.
Before that 10 minutes, I just want to provide a brief point of clarification on terms of the powers of LSAB versus the ASDSU Senate in regard to the previously seen piece of legislation. Although LSAB has voted and approved support for HB 261335. Awesome, you both made the hand motion, that was phenomenal. The Senate still retains its power in our Constitution to make stances on legislation such as that legislation already from 1335. Yes, awesome. It's precedented in our history, it's precedented in, for decades that the Senate's been able to make stances like that, so that still holds its validity. But with that, you guys have your 10 minutes.
Okay, well, first off, this is my first time standing up here presenting legislation, so, I'm scared, no, I'm just kidding. I am it basically explains itself, I think. If you guys have questions, we're more than happy to answer those. Couple things that I want to highlight though, we are having this event off campus. That's why we are asking for the money for the van rentals, as well as the money to rent the CoBank Center for Agriculture Education. That's on Ardec, or not, it's in Ardec South. So if you know where that is technically a college, owned by the college, or by the CSU and Colorado State University and the College of Agriculture, but we are just going to be transporting students out there for this event. One, it just celebrates a little bit more of agriculture, but two, it's way cheaper than renting any place at the LSC. Additionally, that would also include the catering for Ram Country Meats, and this is the thing I'm really proud of. That is a place that we are having students prepare the food. They're helping process the food. It's really from farm to table by students. It's ran by students. It's a student organization. They have an elected chair every year, and then they run through Ram Country Meats, and that is provided by students here on campus. So that funding is going directly to student pockets, not to any other outside organization. I wish they could cater here in the LSC because one, they have really great food and they do a really great job, but also it's just supporting students. I'll turn it over to Evelyn if she thinks I'm missing anything, but that's all I have.
Pretty much pretty much just to highlight whatever Ryder said, but I'm ready for questions, so, yeah.
Coolio. With that, I'll be entering a period of Q&A by First Vice Lockwood. Senator Singleton, shout out.
How many students do you expect to be there to show up?
We're gonna have like about 220-ish students participate. We have a very active college, and so those students are really excited to come and celebrate with their friends. We're gonna do a cornhole tournament. There's a lot of other fun things that we're gonna have happen, as well as give out some outstanding awards throughout the year. So about 220 students, that's an estimated number.
Cool, and then do the students get to have a +1, or is this just for the students or open to everyone, or, yeah?
They're more than willing to like bring anyone they want. It's like a +1, so pretty much open to college of ag students and their +1.
Cool, all right, that's all I have, I yield.
Jerry.
How do you plan to fund this event in the future?
Great question. So we just recently started up our College of Ag Council once again, and so we are a little deficient in our funding sources, but we're definitely going to take this next year to hit hard in the marketing as well as the fundraising aspect of our college council, so that we can provide opportunities for students. This is basically, I don't want to say a permanent one-time ask, but for sure the vision of our college council right now is to make sure that we can self-fund this in the future. We're just asking for a little bit of financial support so we can lift that off the ground and make sure that our students can be celebrated this year. It's on May 1st.
Sounds good.
Second, JK.
I yield.
I want to do a quick point of clarification, considering this is discussion and debate and this isn't a question. But I want to tell everybody that they should absolutely go support Ram Country Meats. They have such affordable products. I was literally there today. I don't get meat from the grocery store. Please go there, support our students, and get some affordable food for yourself. Do it.
Sick. Senator Leggett. I forgot what blackbirds were which.
That's okay. Again, I don't know if I can comment, but I'll still will. Can I?
If you motion for a period of discussion debate first.
I motion for a period of discussion and debate.
Is there a second? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, you can make a comment now, yay, parliamentary.
I also want to say, please go support Ram Country Meats. I go there basically 3 times a week. I eat too much of it. And you can also request specific cuts where you can't do, or you have to pay a premium in butcher shops. They don't really care. They'll be super nice about it. And have lamb, yeah, because not enough people eat it, and it's really good for you. Kind of, it's still red meat, but still eat it, it's good. Yeah, yield.
Thank you. Still in the period of discussion debate for clarification, Chairman Opsey.
Alright, yes, support graduations in general is what I'm going to be saying, and also celebrating student excellence. Students are excellent and they make this campus what it is. It ain't jack. And I will save another part of my question for later, but this will probably be an off the record question.
Do you yield?
I yield.
Awesome. Senator Singleton.
I motion to previous question.
Seconded.
Okay, moving to previous question, technically we didn't end the period of Q&A, so I think we'd still be in the period of Q&A.
To previous question on Q&A.
Awesome, seeing that we've moved to previous question on the period of Q&A. Do you want to? Okay, so ignoring that motion for a second, technically we also didn't take a vote on that motion. Hearing a second to Senator Singleton's motion to previous question in regards to the period of discussion debate. Hearing a second, is there any dissent to this motion? As in getting out of discussion debate? Anyone? Cool, sick. Did you have another thing or did you just want to yield? You can yield now.
I yield.
You toadstool.
Awesome. We're now in a period of Q&A still. Chair Yuri. Phenomenal. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Do I hear any dissent? Hearing none, this will be sent to the Internal Affairs, University Affairs, Budgetary Affairs, whatever Jared renamed it, and DEI Affairs. We'll now be moving into ending roll call. Chairman Onti.
Motion to use beginning roll call as ending roll call, let anyone who showed up late hop onto it, and yada.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear any dissent? Hearing none,